Alright, so moving on, right? Revelation 13:17, right? I ran out of space, so I had to delete some old videos, things like that. And then no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? So, as I said before, when this devil wants to push something, we know he does ordo ad chaos, but he also does things, right, where to make you do something, to make the people do something, to cause them, to persuade them, to appoint them to do something, he has to have, I don't know, it's like something that sweetens the deal. In other words, right? Like when you want to sell someone a shirt, or like they say, like business, oh, sell me this pen, right? And you sell them on the utility of it, right? This is a utility of the motb, that you won't be able to buy things, buy food, because that's how people live their lives, by buying and selling. Money is, like a big part of our lives. We buy and sell things, we may buy food, right? And, you may sell your labor, right? You sell labor, and that's how you make the money back, right? Give and take. That's pretty much how all societies function, really, right? Or maybe you own a business. That's how you sell a service to society, and then you go out and you consume, right? That's just the way it works, right? And the name of the beast, aka the beast system, America, NATO, and the EU, 7 heads, 10 horns, right? It's the beast system, right? And you got all going back to, right, in connection with the 3 city-states, which are all the beast, right? Which is America, the Pentagon, the Vatican, and London, right? Pentagon is a military center, Vatican is a religious center, and London is a financial center, right? And these are the 3 city-states of the beast, right? And you go into these big events, these things are connected, right? World leaders travel around or whatever, and the Pope is on the scene. They will bow and kiss his ring. Trump rushed out. I think, yeah. I remember that. He rushed out the White House to meet the Pope, right? And all these presidents, they treat him in very high regard because he has, a lot of power and a lot of money. And that Catholicism is used as a tool by a New World Order, right? Like Buzz always went into, first he sent the missionaries, then they sent the mercenaries, right? And the Catholic Church, did a lot of that stuff, the different decrees and things like that, right? A lot of times they push for slavery, then later on they try to condemn it, so on and so forth, which is all nonsense, right? They never changed. So name, cover everything authority, right? Under the authority of the beast, or the number of his name. That was 666 as we go on here, right? Now, what also goes with man may not buy or sell, right? Because we're moving into a time, it's like, where we're moving into famines, and it's all going to come together. All of it comes together, right? This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6, verse, and I go to point 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be found empty, right? So the farms, right, they're not going to be operating, right? The full storehouses shall be found, shall be found empty, right? Sown places shall appear unsown, right? This thing's going to be left out, right? In the full stores, it shall be found empty. I mean, no food, right? No breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, right? No restaurants. Things going to be shut the hell down, right? This Jacob's trouble, martial law, right? Things are gonna be much worse, and there's gonna be open combat. There's gonna be combat, people fighting over whatever meager resources there are, right? Was it the ghost used to have 3 days worth of food, right? So people gonna fight, people gonna riot, and if you ain't in this truth, you're just gonna die, right? There's nothing. You gonna have a really rough time, right? And then when they push the motb, that's gonna be your way out, right? And you're gonna be deceived by that, and then be taken out by ICBM. If you're here in America, you take that motb, America will be your grave, right? If you're a heathen in America, America will be a grave. If you're a 2/3 in America, America will be a grave, right? No ifs, ands, or buts, right? And when I say America, United States of America, my brothers do believe that Canada, uh, you know, well, I mean, it might be hit, but brothers don't believe that Canada will be destroyed like entirely, during World War III, right? When Yahushua comes down and this place is taken out, right, and destroyed. Right? Revelation 18 chapter, Babylon is fallen, right? So let's go back. So as I said, pretty much they have to hold something over you. It's like you have to hold something over you to make you do something, right? As I said, with the shot, it was, hey, you want to have normalcy. They knew that the thing that people craved most during the Windows 19 was normality, right? People were complaining, people were crying. I knew a lot of people personally, when I was in school, were crying about how much they wanted to be normal again, about how they wanted the normal life again. I was starting to learn about this truth, man, and I didn't really give a fuck about how things turned out, right? Because at the end of the day, I knew that it was bringing about the end of this place, man. And the only reason I learned that was because I was following, watching the GMS videos, man. And then I came out to the camp, and I wouldn't have known that otherwise, right? Because these other camps, IOIC, they were saying to go get it. I remember that. They were basically saying, oh, it's okay to go get it, pretty much. And I think there's other camps that were saying that shit too. So it's alright if you go get it. I vividly remember that shit, right? But we don't, brothers and GMS were saying, hey, brothers, don't take that shit, right? Don't take that shit. And you got all these health issues that come along with taking that shot, right? But this one is on a different level. It's way worse than that thing, right? Here's wisdom, right? And if you took that thing, of course you can repent from that, right? Just don't take the motb. But hey, man, these people out here, they took that shot. There's a high chance they're gonna take this thing too, especially when it comes to they're not gonna be able to eat and buy anything without it. Here's wisdom to him that understand and count the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. It's number 603 right? And Esau deals with that number on a deep level. Skull and bones, different secret societies, right? And whenever anything has to do with 6, even dates, in their different plans and schemes, 666 always comes up, right? Or if they're doing like you saw a false flag attack, you look into it, and these different truthers and different guys out here online, they go on deep into these things, and it always goes back to 603. That's Esau's number, man. He deals with that number on a high level, man. Right? Just like back then, it's the serpent-like people. Esau's a very, demonic, wicked people, man. They have a wicked, deep, wicked spirit, man. And so on and so forth. Their secret societies, Psalm 64, right? So let's go a little bit into the article. Okay, Okay, so we're back into this article. So accessibility achievements. Apple announced new accessibility features in honor of Global Accessibility Awareness Day, including support for BCIs. The company's adding protocols that allow users to control their devices without physical movement. Potential medical benefits. BCI technology could have particular benefits for individuals with neurological conditions such as ALS, spinal cord injuries, or stroke. Tens of thousands of people have lost the ability to move or speak could potentially regain some independence through the technology. All right, now, one thing there, wise than Daniel. I'm not gonna go ahead and get that. I think that's Ezekiel 28, right? But
if you've owned an Apple device in the past decade,
I didn't even click that. I didn't even click that. All right, but as you see, it's just like what our other Apostle Har said. Yeah, I was watching his video yesterday, watching a few videos, whenever I would get a chance. I'm always excited, when I'm at work and I'm away from any sort of supervisor or, any mentors or trainers or whatever. I'd be happy to get away from them. That's why I try to get my lunch by myself. Always. I mean, you don't have to listen to me, but I try to get lunch by myself all the time, right? Because then I could watch videos and be at peace. You shouldn't want to be around these people anyway, man. And that's one thing, if you're at work or whatever and you're with a group and you have to stay with the group, maybe don't stray too far, and sort of, you can slip away for a little bit and watch some videos. But yeah, I'm more than happy getting away from these people and being alone, right? You shouldn't want to hang out with these people in the world any damn way, right? And going out and eating with these people and getting drink with these people, I don't want to be around them. And forget these guys, right? So also this thing was during accessibility achievement. Accessibility, what did it say? It's pushed during accessibility, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, right? So they did all this stuff on purpose, right? They want to push it and make it seem, right, positive, right? And say, hey, look, it's for the people who are disabled, our most vulnerable populations, right? Terms like that are very, always played upon by the elites, right? They always play upon those words, right? So that's pretty much what they're doing, right? But it's gonna be like other Apostle Star said. It's gonna be out for a few people, and then people aren't gonna be jumping. Millions of people aren't gonna be jumping to take the motb just yet, but soon they will, right? And I googled it in another place, see if I could find it, but it said that companies are pretty much gonna be jumping ahead in support of BCIs, right? They're starting to move their stock towards that, right? Which you follow the money, right? Well, interest. So yeah, it says interest is growing, but Synchron backed by more. Let me start here, man. Let me start here. So in honor, so this is under Apple means keen on addressing accessibility. Right, the market for brain-computer interface technologies can reach $400 billion, assessing the needs of nearly 10 million people living with neurological disorders. So that tells you 100% that this thing is not going to stop. It's only going to get more and more out there and pushed. And it's going to first start with the neurologically impaired, right, which are all demons. It's judgment from the Most High. These people, these Edomites out here, these different individuals, different Jeeks, who are just like pretty much so messed up they can't even move or talk. We don't feel bad for these people in the world, man, in anything that they're dealing with. We don't feel anything towards these people. Forget these guys, right? In honor of Global Accessibility Awareness Day, May 15th, Apple announced new accessibility features across its devices, including support for BCIs. The company is rolling out a protocol for a switch control feature. It will allow users to control the device without physical movement. Apple has made accessibility a key part of its products for years. Even my phone has TalkBack, right, which shows you that that's just a precursor to eventually them, having the motb and you controlling your phone just with your mind, right? Recent updates include tools like voice control, sound recognition, and now built-in eye tracking for iPhone and iPad, right? So lets users control the device just by moving the eyes using the front-facing camera. See? YouTube's support for brain-computer interfaces takes it up a notch, making it possible for users to control device without any movement. A recent video on Synchron's YouTube page shows the technology in action. A strolling man for ALS named Rodney, who has no use of his hands or voice, uses Stanroad Apple Vision Pro headset to send text messages, turn on lights and fans, and even feed his dog. Uses only his thoughts. Right? More competition in a massive market. This is where I saw it. Synchron, backed by Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos, isn't alone in this space. We also got Neuralink. So yeah, industry experts say commercial approval could come as soon as 2030, right? Which, Neuralink got FDA approval very quick, but it's gonna come fast in 2030. We're not gonna be here. It's 2025. Well, listen, yeah. Now, 2030s, it could come faster, right? Something could happen, and they could approve this thing real fast, man. Our elders have said, man. I had to think about it because I was like, what year are we in? But now, we could be here another year or two, who knows? Right? But we're not going to be here another 10, 15 years, man. Lord willing, this thing come faster than 2030, But, like I said, man, you look at the prophecies, you look at the scriptures, man. This thing is going to come faster, man. It's not going to just be something that we're going to be here to 2035, 2040, or like Nate says, 30 years from now, man. BCI is poised to revolutionize modern science. Reported by Morgan Stanley, also projects the market for BCI technologies could reach $400 billion, addressing the needs of 10 million people that with neurological disorders. Okay, so these things are going to move faster than what they say or what they project, right? But, the money is definitely going to be there. So I'm going to let that be that. Lord willing, you edified. And I say shalom.